Hyderabad. It is a city with a glorious history. A blend of cultures, religions, and everything that contrasts the old world to the fastest growing modern city in India. With 9 million people and a booming software industry, it is the go-to place in the south. In this maze of high-paced growth, the one thing you cannot miss is a piece of earth history that defines this place. Hyderabad is the city of rocks. Rocks that are many millions of years old, almost dating back to the age of the earth. Not many cities have the benefit of such grandeur and heritage. But with a population that has grown 7 times in the past 40 years, finding a place to live supersedes every other need of this city. As more and more open areas are being claimed for housing needs, the fabulous rocks of Hyderabad are slowly but surely disappearing.
I have been in Hyderabad for many years, and when I came first, the outlying areas were just wild, and there were still wild animals around, and it was very beautiful to go out into these areas. Now all these areas are built up. Hyderabad has grown so enormously, like all Indian towns and cities, and swallowed up a lot of the landscape around it.
In 1997, I decided to build an independent house and bought some 300 yards here and moved in here and built a house. From then till now, my memory of this place is of 2 types. One is, of course, huge rock formation of million years old, about 1700 million years old. Second is a sheer diversity of flora and fauna. You can see varieties of small birds, you can see all sorts of lizards, varieties of butterflies. It's amazing world, amazing life.
Hyderabad granites are supposed to be one of the oldest rock types present in India. And their age ranges between 2500 to 2800 million years. They are all formed on account of the weathered conditions that existed 2500 million years back till date. So as an account of which what is happening is there is an interaction of atmosphere with the hydrosphere. These two together on the lithosphere, that is the granites, giving rise to a what is called pronounced way of erosion along the line of least resistance within the rocks.
When I became the head of the tourism bureau, we looked at Hyderabad. What are the things which can be projected as interesting opportunities for tourism? And we felt that rocks can be one very prominent item, because we don't have this kind of a landscape anywhere else. It is the Deccan plateau which offers this kind of a rockscape.
Some rocks, the way they're balanced, just seem unreal, and it seemed like they're going to fall off at any moment, but they've been there for generations.
I think the rocks are the essential feature of Hyderabad.
It's really what makes Hyderabad stand out. The rocks are just, I'd never seen anything like it.
Tourism is highly experiential now. I mean, people prefer to go to those destinations where they are able to get some very unique experiences, and those places eventually stand out globally from a tourism point of view.
And rocks will play a significant role in bringing up adventure sports, attracting foreign tourists to destinations. And granite rocks are more concentrated towards the Deccan area, and Hyderabad is blessed with them. Rock climbing or scrambling, all this helps psychologically in terms of becoming a better person. You know, when you take up challenges, you develop your personality. So it's a very good way of exposing children to become more resilient, more strong, you know, get that skill set. So these behaviors can be learned through rock climbing, and you can go and face your actual life.
1996, when the destruction had started, Banjara Hills had been inhabited, destroying many rocks.
The city was spreading and people moved out to Jubilees, all rocky areas, and people realized these rocks need to be protected.
The concerned citizens of Hyderabad, some of them, came together, set up this society to save rocks, to safeguard the rocks, to preserve them.
Our awareness programs are multifaceted. We have from cultural programs in the rock. We have also rock walks. That is our most regular program. Every month on the third Sunday, we take people to the rocks. That is free rock walks. We just gather at one point and drive out to one of these nice places where we can walk around and show people, get a feel of the rocks, see the texture, the color, the beauty of the rocks. There are quite a number of really interesting formations around Hyderabad, formations that are not occurring in other cities. They are all over the Deccan plateau, but not in the cities. And we have them right in the cities, so we thought, let's keep them. The government asked us to give proposals of that because they were framing this heritage list. They put approximately 150 buildings on this heritage list and 9 rock formations, including biggish rock areas.
And this particular piece of the land was put on, by the government of Andhra Pradesh that time for an auction. And knowing fully well that it is a heritage rock lying in the middle of the proposed site where the hotel is to be built, it rather encouraged us that something is very unique. So as a challenge, as a responsibility, as a connecting ourselves with the history, we decided that if this site is given to us, our brief to our architect that this hotel needs to be built around this heritage rock. I can build a hotel, but I can't build a heritage rock. So we built a hotel conserving the heritage rock and building all around it. Maybe it might cost something more, but I can't get a heritage rock myself.
I purchased this land in 2004, and that time it was full of rocks and bushes. But as soon as we cleared the bushes, and it was a huge rock, which we never imagined. I was searching for some good architect who can save the rock. And finally I got Mr. Lavram. I requested him to design this building also.
So how to deal with 50 feet level is the first challenge. And above that, the retention of the rock. I know it's at least 2,200 crore year old rock. Everything we did started failing because of the levels now don't match. And we generally plan the superstructure and try to impose it on the ground. We don't work from the ground, so a lot of adjustments that need to be made.
Of course, as far as finance is concerned, so we have faced a lot of trouble.
And by the time we start the ground floor, usually the other project would have been complete. The time it takes, every footing has to be marked on the stability of the rock. Though it's very interesting, the passion kept both of us go on to this project. So Mr. Bansal can always say there's no other project like this.
I think after completing the project, I feel happy and all the pains are over.
The existence of groundwater availability or potentiality of a particular area. This depends upon capacity to hold water in a rock. The granites are also brittle. They can be fissured by any movement within the rock, on account of which there are structures developed within the granites. And these structures can allow the water to seep through the granite in such a way that whatever water it experiences, it will be percolated down below and forms groundwater.
If it is only like mud facility or just barren land kind of thing, it's going to absorb the water, which we will not be in a position to use that. But when you have this rock formation kind of thing, that gives you pure water, that's a straight water. Your job is just capture the water. So rocks are 100% helping us.
So that is the link. The more you preserve the hillocks, the more you preserve the natural ponds, the more you will have a sustainable ecosystem. Because it naturally recharges the groundwater, puts less pressure on the government resources in providing drinking water.
If you cut a tree,
a tree may grow back. If you break a rock, it's gone forever.
You want to build a housing colony where rocks are there, build by all means, but adjust along with the rocks.
Sad thing is that you can start to see the city without the rocks, with all the concrete buildings going up and the high rises, and you can see where the rocks are being removed.
Not many people come in support of rocks, and just because it's non-living doesn't mean that we don't feel for it.
But the problem now is how to preserve it for posterity. Now, an individual cannot do it, a group of people cannot do it. It has to be a collective venture. Those areas which are owned by the government, at least now the government should realize they should not lose those unique rock formations. If Hyderabad is a 400 years old city, that 400-year-old city should retain 600 to 700 million year old rock formation as its own internal heritage structure. So who can do that? Only government can do that.
Like Chennai, you have the beach or the sea. In Rajasthan, you have the desert. In Kerala, you have the backwaters and the coconut groves. I think Hyderabad or Telangana, this region is rocks, and we have to recognize that.
Our critics say, why don't you do something for people? Why do you have to do something for rocks? What are rocks? So I say, no, we need landscape, we need lung space, we need open places, we need beauty, and nobody can live without beauty. And the rocks are an ideal vehicle for that, an ideal background for that.